Good morning from Granny Park in Pollokshields. It's actually quite a nice morning. When I woke up this morning and my curtains were drawn, all I heard was the wind and there was some rain battering against the glass. And I thought, oh no, I want to stay in bed. And I almost did, quite honestly, because I'm quite tired. Quite tired in lots of different levels. But I thought, no, Ms. Deeming, you have to continue the strand, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Come out, connect with nature at sunrise, and where you're at, and the wishes of the world. And it was a very still dance today, and that's completely cool. I think I've said it before, and I need to remind myself of it as well, to accept wherever my body, and that's my physical body as well as my emotional body and everything else is, and just be with that, because the practice is about being embodied, and that's about really connecting into the whole physical and emotional and spiritual experience of yourself, which normally we numb or do not have awareness of. And so it's that whole idea of connection, which is quite important. But I am quite tired. It's been a really exhausting past week, and I think I need to cut myself some slack, really, because in addition to the sunrise dances, which are becoming increasingly earlier, which adds its own challenges, and then of course I had all the International Women's Day stuff, which is a load of energy going out. A load, not to mention trying to plan for the next phase of stuff, which is really uncertain at the minute. And so I am experiencing an amount of stress about that, because certainly, in my freelance world, there's still a lot of waiting and hoping and hoping for stuff which hasn't come through yet, and certain things that I really fully anticipated to come through have not. And so that leaves me in a position in this morning going, oh my gosh, I'm totally exhausted, but equally I need to be proactive to take care of myself for the coming months. And so what is it that I need to do? But it's really hard because I'm so tired to know. So it's that balance between doing and resting. And there's an interesting article, I think it was in the New York Times yesterday, talking about how important sleep is, and it's always the thing we give up first. But in actual fact, of course, it's one of the methods of torture used with warfare throughout the world, sleep deprivation, and it makes you crazy. And this really big study found that most people do not get enough sleep. And so you wonder what's happening to our brains. I'm a big sleeper myself. I mean, criminally, I could sleep for Britain. And interestingly, it also said that genius-type people have a tendency to sleep more. I'm just saying, that's all. There's this whole idea about recovery and reflection is the whole thing about, if we look at nature, there needs to be that balance point where if you're putting out a huge amount of energy, we then need to give ourselves equal time to have stillness and reflection. And it's funny because I had another thought yesterday. This is now, please let me know that I am a very holistic and pure person, and I don't do any drugs at all. I'm not interested, but I find it really interesting that I had this thought, because there's a whole thing now. Cigarettes are going to be put under the counter in England, so that when you go to the shops you can't actually see them, which is a huge thing. And I was thinking about it because the whole thing how marijuana is not legal and or it's classed as a whatever, but it's illegal anyway. It's illegal here, and it's illegal in the States. And I thought, because lots of people die from cigarette smoking, from lung cancer, and although the cigarette companies try and convince you otherwise. But the thing about cigarettes, as opposed to marijuana, is that cigarettes do not inhibit your working patterns. As a matter of fact, they make you more efficient as a worker, perhaps. theoretically, let's say, where something like marijuana, it totally slows you down and keeps you from being an inefficient worker. So I thought, well, that's quite fascinating, actually. How does that fit into everything? And I don't know what that means within the context. I don't do either, not interested, as said, but within the context of what morality we place on things, I find that really interesting, and tying into that whole idea of reflection and recovery and rest, which we very, very much need. So yeah, so that's my dance of the day, which was very short, very still, lovely, to kind of just really connect to the sky. And also to be in Granny Park, because I forgot this. I didn't forget this was here, but I just kept going over there, which is just there, which is where the cage is. And here, I forgot that this, although I've never seen a granny here in my life, it's called Granny Park, and I'm probably the only individual who's ever stood in here over the age of 16, and probably the only female as well. It's really interesting to see all the little random bits of plastic and stuff like that, and wrappers and things. But in the midst of that, we've got beautiful daffodils that are blooming, that are starting to pop up, which I just love how they triumph every year. So, which is a lovely reminder. So I hope you have a nice day. So I meant to be the Broomielaw today, but just wasn't possible. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. You know, for me, the energy to go down there, I would need to leave my house at 6:30, which is a lot. But I would like to go down there at some point. We'll see what happens. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.